everyone, welcome back. Today on my channel we're making a coffee chocolate bread, a chocolate coffee bread, whichever way you want to say it. So we're going to do that in my bread machine. We're going to use the dough cycle. We're actually going to take it out of there and bake it off in the oven. So stay tuned for that recipe. If you're new here, then I wish you would hit this red subscribe button and become a member of my YouTube family. I would love to have you. And thumbs up. I always ask for a thumbs up. I really appreciate those. And hit that bell icon and hit all so you're notified of all the videos that I upload. So let's get into making the chocolate coffee bread. Okay, so we're going to get started on our chocolate coffee bread. So first, to our bread machine pan, we're going to add 1 cup of water, which I already have it pre-measured out. Then we're going to be adding 2 tablespoons of softened butter. Get all that delicious butter in there. So to the water and the butter, then we're going to be adding in our egg, 1 egg. We're going to beat it a little bit. Then to that, we're going to be adding some salt. It says 1 teaspoon of salt. Just going to kind of shake some in here. I don't have my box anymore that I pour out of. I have to get a new one of those. So 1 teaspoon of salt, a little bit extra. I don't think it was quite a teaspoon. And then we're going to be adding some, I have instant espresso powder. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of that, maybe 1 1/2. I'm going to just make it 1 heaping, I think. Then we're going to be adding our bread flour, 3 cups. Just going to level them off a little bit. 1. Wow. That really splattered up. Hopefully it won't affect the recipe. 2. Put it in a little bit lower so it doesn't get the same splash up. And 3. Then we're going to be adding some brown sugar to this recipe. And the brown sugar is going to be 1/3 of a cup. We're going to pack that. And now we're going to add our 2 1/4. I'm going to spread that brown sugar around a little bit. 2 1/4 teaspoons of bread machine yeast. Now we are going to be adding chocolate chips to this, semi-sweet chocolate chips, but we won't do that until the add-in cycle. So let's get this in my bread machine. I'm going to choose the dough cycle. And that'll be 1 minute and 30, or 1 hour and 30 minutes. Then after the dough cycle goes off, well, like I said, the add-in, I'll be adding in these when the add-in beep goes off on my bread machine. Then after the dough cycle is done, we're going to remove it from the pan and we're going to cover it and we're going to let rise or let rest about 10 minutes. I can't talk today. It's a gloomy day here. I think I need some sunshine. So we're going to remove it from the pan when the timer goes off and let it rest 10 minutes. And then we're going to actually bake this on a large cookie sheet. And I'll show you the rest of the process when we get to that point. So stay tuned. Okay, so while we're waiting for that, I'm going to go ahead and get my topping ready. It's just a tablespoon of sugar. Get that on there. And it's going to be mixed with some of the espresso powder. It's going to be 2 teaspoons. We're going to mix that up. And that is what's going to go on the top. I'm probably going to use, I could use an egg wash over the bread, or you can use just milk. I think I'm going to do milk and then apply this. And then we will bake it. There's our topping ready. Here's what she's doing right now. And it's looking a little sticky. Now, if you think it's a little sticky, you can add a little bread flour. I'm going to add just a touch. You just kind of have to look at that sometimes when you're making bread. If it's a little sticky, you need to add a little flour. Let that go around and see what that does. Okay, she's gone off. Now, usually there is a nut cycle, but I've never added like nuts or chips or something on my dough cycle. So I was waiting for the beep. I got busy cleaning, but I did not hear it. I was in the same room cleaning. So we were supposed to add chocolate chips at that add-in section. We didn't get to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe slightly melt these, and I'm going to work them in myself, and we're going to see how it turns out. So the first thing is we're going to get it out of the pan, and I'm going to let it rest. Move that out of the way. And I don't think I'm going to be adding any flour. I don't think I will. I might regret that. Yeah, that was a little sticky. So, get the dough hook out. Yeah, I'm going to add a little flour. Let me grab a little bit. And cover it up and let it rest. Okay, so it's 10 minutes. It's rested. Now I'm going to try to incorporate my chocolate chips that didn't. I melted them just a touch. So we're going to see what kind of mess I can make here, because I have a feeling it's going to be messy. But I'm making chocolate coffee bread, so it's got to be chocolate, right? Anytime I make bread in the bread machine, I always hear the nut or the chip or the whatever, the add-in beeps where it says add-in. This one, it didn't do it on the dough cycle. I've never really did anything on the dough cycle that I had to add in. I don't recall that, so we're going to incorporate it one way or another. And I hope that when it starts to bake, that it'll melt in there. I can feel them all in there. We'll see what it does. So I don't want to mess with it too much. But we're going to place this. If you hear my machine, I have another loaf going. I'll have that video uploaded at another day because that's got 3 hours to left on it. So that'll be another day. So we're going to put it on our cookie sheet. I did put parchment paper on here. Okay. As I'm trying to get it out, it probably needs to rest a bit more. It's going to come back. But I'm just trying to get it a rectangle shape. And then we're going to cover it and let it rise about 45 to 50 minutes. Then we'll bake it. A little messy. So I think this is all we're going to get. So we're just going to go with that and see how that turns out. Okay. So we're going to cover it back up and go put it somewhere warm. And before I put it in the oven, I'll show you. Okay, the timer just went off, and let's check and see how it rose. It's a little odd shaped, but hopefully it tastes good. Now what it asks us to do is make some little slits in the top. This is where we're going to brush it with milk, and then we're going to add the sugar and the coffee mixture that I have ready. I'm not sure what the purpose of this is. I got this out of the Betty Crocker, the older cookbook that I have, but it says to do this on the top, so we're going to do it on the top. Hope you can see what I'm doing. So now I'm just going to brush it with the milk. Ooh, that's making a mess. I need to wash my stove top off anyway, I guess. So let's put that on there, get a little on the end here. Make sure it's good and covered it all with the milk. And I apologize, I just looked back at my video and I could see the back of my head was in part of the frame. So now we're going to just, I guess, sprinkle this on here. I'm going to do it with my hand a little bit first so we get it everywhere before I try to pour it on, and then I would probably just plop it on one place. That's my luck. So I can see where, you know, the chips are still in the middle. I hope they go ahead and melt. So we shall see what this turns out like. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this across the middle and the sides. And then we're going to pop this in the oven that's preheated to 400, about 18 minutes. See how it turns out. And we'll be back when I'm pulling it out of the oven. Okay, there she is. Just got her out. I think I'm going to transfer it over onto this cooling rack. So we're going to leave it on that to cool. Let me get you over here a little closer so you can check it out. I'm sorry, I keep bumping the camera. So we're going to let this cool off and then give it a taste. I'm going to cut the end off. You can see some of the chocolate in there for sure. It looks like the majority of the chocolate's like right here in the middle, I think. Maybe I'll just cheat and cut in the middle here. I want to see what it looks like in the middle. Yeah, it didn't really go throughout it. It just kind of stayed up on the top pretty much. So I'm going to set that over there for now. But look at the middle here. It's got a gooey, looks like some gooey chocolate coming out of it. You see that? Let's try a bite. Okay, we're going to try some. And the chocolate isn't evenly throughout, unfortunately. But what you can see, hopefully you can see it, it's pretty, looks like it's pretty gooey. So let's take a taste. Of course, I want to taste on the end of the chocolate. Oh, you can definitely taste the coffee. And of course the chocolate, because I just took a big bite of it. That has a really good flavor. I like it. I think in the morning with my coffee, it's going to be scrumptious. I'm going to try a little piece down here that doesn't really have the chocolate in it. See what it tastes like. Yeah. Excuse my chewing. Definitely still taste the coffee. So it's got a good flavor throughout. Just got to get a bite with everything mixed in with it. So, excuse me. So if you try this one, using the dough cycle, my advice is just put the chocolate chips in probably on the second knead, when it's kneading the second time. And myself, I would probably even melt the chocolate chips before I put them in. But give it a try. And until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Bye.